Hi everybody, welcome to South Guy Paranormal Channel. This is me, Adam, back with you for the Monday vlog, just about, I hope. And hope you've had a good Easter. It's been a weird one for me, basically because obviously this time last year I was dealing with the Southend Shakedown, and obviously we stepped away for this year. So yeah, it's been weird having nothing to do, whereas this time last year, putting up signage and taking down signage and watching everything going on and trying to deal with things, and this year just totally opposite. I did take a quick drive down the seafront. The weather's been very changeable today. It's been rainy, bit of wind, so couldn't expect the same level of visitors that we would have done last year. And basically the council did do a similar thing to what they did in 2018, which was to barrier off Marine Parade, which is the main bit of seafront on Southend, between the pier and the Kersal. That was all barried off so no one could park. The police presence was mental. There was so much police down there. There was a lot of security, a lot more so than 2019, obviously, and last year. So, yeah, very, very different feel. And I've got one or two ideas moving forward regarding it. It's going to basically go back to scratch because last year, God, it feels like yesterday, doing it last year. Whilst it publicly is pretty well received, the issues were behind the scenes. Basically, to cut a long story short, we were told to sort out a professional events manager and start the events management plan itself from scratch. Which is no mean feat because professional events managers cost money, which we've struggled with at the best of times. But even with 19, we had a lot more backing then. So yeah, it was a hard one, and we made the decision to step back away from the shakedown this year, and hopefully we can work towards next year with a bit more leniency and some fresh crew. The other issue we had last year was that we were bare bones for volunteers, and what annoyed me was that not the volunteers obviously, but whilst as for anything, most of the party is good lot, normally good bunch, weren't an issue. There was quite a few that were very rude to our volunteers, and there was also a small group which were not prepared to listen to instructions, shall we say, which caused an issue as well. Unfortunately, as such, the volunteers that we did have last year have said that they will not be helping out with future events, so we've got to start from scratch with volunteers as well. And yeah, but as I say, I've got a few ideas I can change things about, and hopefully they'll work. So but obviously in due course all will be revealed, and I'll keep you posted as regarding the shakedown. So yeah, what I was actually going to talk about was what I really enjoy about ghost hunting, why it's so great, and why it's not what you think. Now, it's something I probably touched upon a long time ago, not long after I first started, in fact, and that's the fact that it sort of came to light yesterday. Now, I'd gone up to Walton on the Nose, which is in north of Essex, near Clacton. Just over Ricky and Tracy. They've got a holiday home there. So I was up there for the night on Saturday. We went out, done a little bit of ghost hunting. I've got to go over the footage from what I did record and see if anything's see what I can use from that. But in that respect, I will be going back again because there was places that we did want to check out, which unfortunately were subject to tide times, and the tide was in. So we couldn't really access the other bits that we wanted to, but duly noted, and we will re-attend that one. But yeah, what sort of came to light to me when on my way back from Walton was that I didn't take the what is normally the regular route, which is down the A12, you know, come A130, so on back to South End. I thought, no, I'm going to take a sort of more direct, sort of scenic route, which is, you know, Malden, Wood and Ferrers, you know, you go that direction if you know Essex. If you don't, look it up on Google Maps. So I basically plumbed into the old Google sat nav. No, I don't want to follow the car route. I'm going to take the push bike route, because it's normally the most direct. The one downside with the push bike routes is they can take you down tracks, or they can take you down a path which isn't meant for motor vehicles. So you do have to bear that in mind if you ever want to do the same thing, as I found out a couple of times. However, as I say, the cycle route is obviously a lot more direct, because they're going to put you on a shorter route than what you'd be on if you was driving. Google tries to give you the most efficient, quickest route sort of thing. So, yeah, it is different to cycling. And, yeah, it was amazing. Like, no, I considered myself to know Essex pretty well. And, but you could just drive through these little villages that you sort of blink and you miss. And you're like, wow, it's just such a unknown part of Essex. And the crux of it is that, yeah, you're finding these little villages. And as I'm sort of driving through, I stop a couple of times and make notes of places that can be visited there. You know, there's old churches, and I think I found a couple of abandoned buildings and that sort of thing. So that's one thing. When you're going out and looking for new places as a ghost hunter, once you've gone past the Google search of haunted places in Essex, and there's always, they always throw the same things up, like, Kelvin and Nuclear Bunker, Red Dining Colchester, and so on and so forth. You always get the same places. So then you have to turn a bit detective, historian. So this is the bit where ghost hunting becomes really interesting, because you get to learn a lot more about the area that the area that you live in, or the area you want to visit. You get to learn its history, what went on, any juicy details that even local residents probably aren't aware of. A quick example, now I've been to Epping Forest. I'm quite looking forward to going back and doing some more stuff there again. But Epping Forest is synonymous with Dick Turpin, highwayman. Southend had its own highwayman in a Jerry Cutter Lynch. Now, I learnt through looking up highwaymen about a place called Lee Hall, which is called Lapwater Hall. It got the name, and it's down London Road. It's knocked down in the 60s, I think, but it was an 18th century property. And there's a place that now stands on where the hall is, called Lapwater Court. And people must drive past there, day in, day out, like, not even wonder why it got the name Lapwater. And it was like, the guy that, let's say, it's Jerry Cutter Lynch, he bought this Lee Hall back in the early, mid-18th century, 1730, I believe, around that time. And the name Lapwater came about because this hall was needing a renovation even then, back in the early 18th century. And Jerry Cutter Lynch, his official trade, he was a master craftsman. All right. Jerry Cutter Lynch was his highwayman, though. I can't remember his real name off the top of my head. But anyway, he hired some builders to renovate the property, and they gave like agreed a daily rate, a couple of pennies, a flag in the rail, whatever it was. And soon after they started, the tradesmen were complaining that they weren't getting enough ale. And this Jerry Cutter Lynch said, well, if you feel like you're thirsty, go and lap water out of the horse pond. And that's how the name Lapwater stuck. But you wouldn't have known that without learning the history of the area, which come from wanting to find anything that could be investigated for paranormal purposes. So it's these little things that you come across. It's learning about the Viking history of Ashington, of Benfleet, Canvey. all these things you get to learn about when you become a ghost hunter. So, because once you take out all the paranormal infestations that are well documented, when you go historian, or when you turn into a historian and detective, this is when you learn a lot more about the area, and that's when you become and that's when investigations start. And as I said, what I did Sunday, yeah, it's on. As I say, Easter weekends throw me a little. What we did on Sunday was driving back, just going through these little tiny villages in Essex that, you know, you sort of know there, but you've never really stopped and appreciated these, you know, these little places, you know, about 20, 30 houses, whatever. Blink and you miss it. All right, but I'm driving through these and I'm now sitting there going, there's an old church there, might be worth having a look. So I literally stopped, just make a note of the place, where it is, and it's on a sort of to-do list now. So, yeah, that, you know, as I said, you become a ghost hunter, you turn historian, you turn detective, you learn so much. You know, my own ancestry, you know, my Viking ancestry, and how it's linked in with East Anglia and Anglia all over. If I hadn't had the issues with the car back a little while ago, I would have been up to Isle of Ely to trace back my lineage, because that's the earliest point I've traced myself back, or traced my line back to. And again, the link with John Ball, I've investigated. My lineage could well have a link with Oliver Cromwell, because he came from the Isle of Ely. There's so much there, and as I say, it's just fascinating, so fascinating. Anyway, yeah, I'll stop right there and stop waffling on. But as I say, you know what I'm saying, you become so much more than just a ghost hunter. You find out so many things, you know, and I think through that you kind of get more of an attachment to the lands that you're on, and the people that are around you, and that sort of thing. So yeah, yes, I'm gonna leave it there. Now, content this week, I'm gonna put up a couple of random clips. As I think I said last week, I've got stuff on my computer which has just been sitting there dormant, so there's going to be some random clips coming up in the next couple of weeks, but that's what will be this week. So obviously seen the Triumph Rocket 3 test ride I did last week. This week, yeah, it's just like little ghost tube clips and things, you know, bits that I sort of left out of main content. So there's going to be a couple of them, and there is also going to be some Rettendon content coming up as well. I've just finished that last week. I did forget to mention, I believe. I did that last week, got covered in mud again for my sins, but with that bit of Rettendon content, it's a bit of closure for the work I've done on Billy Jasper and Mr. D. I basically went back to the same spot. It was my last, literally, I'd say it's my last window of opportunity to record something where the conditions were reasonably close to what they were 28 years ago now, 27 years ago, you know what I mean? To get reasonably close to the conditions of that night that Mr. D would have been looking, or you know, Billy Jasper, but moreover, Mr. D, because it was him that put the lead work in to get to Workhouse Lane and then back again. So basically what I've done is I've covered that, and we'll have that up in, but it won't be this, I would think 2 weeks time. I'll try and get it up for then, so you can see exactly what I did. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, everybody. Love and light to you all, and God bless you all. As I say, see you on Thursday. Going to have a few random clips just for you to watch and enjoy. Thanks once again.